So this shouldn't be too long. This one could do it. Let's do this, streamer. Thanks for joining the chat room. Let's see if I can get to it anyway. I'm gonna try to share this stream yet again. The problem is I'm not loving the way the share works. I'm gonna reload this. I'm live now, right? So I'm not seeing the live broadcast. There you go. Where are the options? This wasn't in options where I can actually see a little bit more widgets and stuff. Maybe it's here. That's for the chat. Let me just hit this one called mod mode or something like that. Nah, I don't see it. So I'm just gonna leave it the way it is right now. What is this thing? Oh, that's editing that, and that's me recording myself, and that's not what I want to do. Let's see. I don't want to do a bio yet. What do you mean by edit panels? You don't know what any of that is. So I'm going to shut off the panels. I'd love to be able to add the chat onto the screen. I just don't know how to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see if I can. Well, the screen, I guess, doesn't exist until I finish it. I'll just share that I'm streaming. Ooh, can I embed this on? No, you ain't gonna be able to embed this. Yeah, Facebook ain't gonna let me do that. I wish. That'd be so neat. So let me just do share. I'm just gonna share it in a few places, and then I'll get to it. So I'm gonna just go to Facebook real quick. And have that screen going on again. I'll do it from the comics page. Let's do Captain. Jamaica. Inks. Page 13. Let me just see if this came up right, and I'm going to try to share it. See if it shares correctly. And use this. I'm not sure this way. Copy that. I have a bad feeling about this. Last time I tried to share a link to pages, it only sent the link, and it didn't send the information I wanted to about the link also. So I'm trying to make sure I don't do that mistake again. One last group, and that's it. That's dark. So those are the ones I'm sharing too. Also, I needed Facebook for. Let me reduce the volume a little bit. This page is pretty straightforward, which is kind of neat. It's just like the other one, pretty easy. I only have to do one layer. And the way I'm working, let me see something. What just happened there? Son of a. lady, kids. Well, undo that right now. So cut and paste. This is gonna go to the layer below. I'm gonna bring the opacity back up to 100. Bring that down. Move the opacity back down to a nice low color, so I can then work with it. I just need one layer, and from that layer I just need black, and we're gonna work from there. So what I like to try to do is get rid of the background first. So I'm gonna get rid of the background first, and after I'm finished with the background, I'm going to then go and then redraw the characters. Even though it's one layer, it doesn't really matter. I can do it all on one layer, but I'm just gonna work with this too. A little bit more. A little bit tighter than what I usually draw, so that's pretty neat. So what I'm literally doing is where his head is, it's indenting the pillow. And what happens is as the pressure from his head is hitting the pillow, it's pushing those points down. So that's kind of what I'm drawing here. And that's going to give you a little bit more realism in the shot. Same thing with the pillow that Tonya has her head on too. Same thing. She's leaning on him, but there's a little bit of weight on the pillow too, so it's not going to be as defined as his, but there's going to be some push and pull from her too coming onto these pillows. Let's do this, streamers. Join back in. Doing the interesting thing I found out on Twitch called lurking. It's an interesting concept. Like a person might be doing something else, but they're kind of supporting your channel by watching it, but they're not active in the chat room, so it's all right. This is his boots. So the inside of the boot. Yeah, so like I said, what's interesting about it is now I don't stress myself out anymore about like, oh, how am I gonna draw that? I just draw what I think it should look like, and I just let it come naturally. Let's take this pressure point here. This is just his jacket and stuff that's like it's falling on the floor. What I'm gonna try to do is get rid of the perfectly straight lines that I drew before. Add some creases into it. That should kind of give it what I'm going for. I want to. Here's what we'll do. We're not going to draw the whole boot. We'll just draw some of it, and then we'll say his shirt kind of fell on top of it. So that's that. Not going to waste too much time on, wait, what detail is this and what detail is that? So I'm just going to break some of this stuff down. Get a little easier to deal with. This is a rarity for me. I'm going back in and cleaning these lines. I actually usually have my stuff have this really rough lines look. Usually I don't clean them up at all. I just leave it the way it is. But I'm trying to do the inking a little bit cleaner. So what we're gonna do with this is the boots. So let's add this over here. The strings is just gonna do a little bit of something like this. There you go. Same thing with this string here. This boot. Purposely just make this jacket a little bit more pronounced over his boot. Take care of that problem. These things are on the floor. That's pretty much done. The only other background that I have to concern myself with is the top of the bed here, and then from there. And from there you can basically see it's the only other piece that I have to do. And then the bed itself. Just have to draw the pillows. So that's all of the background. The background is very minimal. And then what I can just do is now just draw the characters back in. Let me get her pillow that's over here. This pillow is done here. And he's on top of it. Now all I have to just do is draw the characters. And that's pretty much it for the inking of this page. It's 3 panels, which is nice. It's 2 characters. And it should be very quick. Some of the other pages that I did had like cars on them, a lot of cars, and I had to sit down and draw all of those cars and define them. And that took a while. Seen 2 triangles. Let's kind of take care of that. Triangle here, another triangle there. If we're going to do the arm, it's all about triangles. I don't know. I'm exhausted. I have no idea why I'm so tired. Wait, might have been because I was up till 3 a.m. yesterday. That would do it. That usually does it. I didn't sleep. Yeah, I downloaded League of Legends. I was playing the tutorial again. Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather play Vainglory. You know what I actually found out is I just think there's just too much. And I don't know. I'm clicking the buttons. I'm pressing the attacks. I don't really know what they're doing. All I just know is things are dying. Like for the attacks to make sense, I have to put the characters in a way it makes sense to me, like a Vainglory character. Like what character is this closest to? Like there's this knight with this spinning axe attack, and it reminds me a lot of Glaive's kit. But my big problem I have is there's somewhere between 4 to 5 powers instead of 3. And I believe there's also a passive, or I'm not sure if there is. Yeah, like I said, and it's just so much. Like, there's little strange mechanics about that game that I don't like. Like, let's say if you run to a turret and your minion comes under the turret. Let's say you were getting hit by the turret or initially, and then the minions came under the turret just switches over to the minions. It's like, what? Like in Vainglory, you gotta move away, get the turret to unlock from you to lock onto a minion for you not to be the prime target. This game is just like, oh, there's a minion here now. Okay, we're no longer targeting the hero. Well, that makes absolutely no sense. Like, it's forgiving on certain things. It's definitely more forgiving. They even have a heal that comes back a lot faster than in Vainglory. Like Vainglory, I think that's the interesting thing about it. A lot of it is a little bit more difficult, and it requires a bit more patience. Like when you use your flask, I think you lose it for like 2 minutes. In this game, if you lose your heal, the heal comes back in less than like 60 seconds. So it's a little bit weird. It feels a little too fast. It might even be 45 seconds. It does not feel like I waited a minute to use it again. It's just like you feel like you can spam it. Like you can run in, lose half your energy, and if you haven't fought for about 30, 40 seconds, this thing is going to be right back, and you can just jump right back on it. It's a little weird to me. So and also, like I said, in Vainglory, every attack I'm doing, or everything I'm seeing the character does, I kind of have an understanding of how the powers work. It could be because they did those really good hero spotlights that broke down, like, what could you do to get some really cool plays out of the character. Like, that's Vainglory has a smaller hero pool, and I've played every hero at least once. I've played every captain. I've played every jungler. Like, my least favorite jungler is Crow, and there's some people who live and die by it. My son loves it. I hate it. It's not that it's impossible to use. I just don't like the style of Crow's play. And Crow is almost like an all or nothing character. Like, for you to be successful with Crow, you have to not give AFs about anything, and you have to build him in a way that every time he hits something, he's generating health. And there's ways to actually cut that off. There's certain weapons that prevent that from happening. what do you call it? It was right there in my head. As it shiv, this is not shiver steel. Oh my god, I can't remember it. Just built it last night on my stuff. It ain't the serpent mass. I gotta try to remember the name of this thing without opening up the game. It's really bugging me that I can't recall what it is. It's so bothersome that I can't remember this off the top of my head. I can see the weapon too. It's a 3rd tier weapon. It's critical strikes and it does wounding. Oh wow, I can't believe I can't remember what the hell it's called. Poison Shiv. Jesus! I cannot believe I could not remember the Poison Shiv. So what's really cool about a Poison Shiv is a Poison Shiv has the ability to apply critical wounds to a character. And when a character is bleeding in critical wounds, their heals don't work effectively. So like whenever I would face a crow, if I was a captain, if I was a laner, if I was a jungler, if I was in the weapon pool version of those characters, I would definitely build a Shiver Steel. Like I automatically threw one of those in because every 3rd basic attack puts on wounding. And it would prevent Crawl from being able to stack his heals. That makes him like invincible. Because if you hit him with a lot of damage, and then your 3rd strike automatically hits him with a critical wound, his abilities start to fail. That massive heal that he gets from hitting you and stunning you and stuff like that just disappears. So like that's how I used to take care of him. Another one too is also if you can stun him out of his pattern of like freaking oh my god, there's all these terms that I should remember, they're not coming to me. Like when he's bursting damage on top of you, if you can knock him out of the burst, it also ruins his ability to heal because he has to be fast and he has to do a lot of damage. Like I mean, I'm pretty sure League of Legends is a very fun game. Probably if I came from League into Vainglory and I got good at that, I'd be able to go back. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to spend the time to learn all of that. Yeah, like one of those companies, like I'm not really interested in anything they make because of how they treated Vainglory when they had it, is Rogue. Rogue is not like a company, man. That they're kind of low down and dirty. Like it's not a company like if you were telling me, oh, Rogue made a game, I'm gonna be like, oh, let me go check that out. Nah, the way they were with Vainglory, they took it, they went about a month and a half with it, like, oh, it's the best, and then during the pandemic and stuff, we can't make money off it, so we're just shutting the game down on Friday. It's like, what? Yeah, because of that company, if they ever make anything like, or ever have a game is attached to them, nah. The problem is they don't care. Like it's like I can't make money off it. I don't like some of the products that are gonna be associated with it, so yeah, whatever. I mean, I was upset when I heard Super Evil was making another game too, but it's kind of interesting as they released information about the game and what the game was going to be like. The more I was like, okay, isn't too bad. And then I started seeing when they were going to do the early access program, and then they started showing you more videos, more gameplay videos and more trailers of the game in action in its current state. I was just like blown away by how amazing it was. So they do really good work. And what I like, the Discord server. This game got me using Discord because I pretty much had no idea how to use Discord. But I got active on the server, and because I'm active on that server, I fully understand it a little bit more on how it works, what it does, and how you communicate in that chat environment. It reminds you a little bit of AIM, but AIM was always like a one-to-one conversation unless you made a group. Reminds me a lot of AOL Instant Messenger. All chats work the same way. It's just Discord is very fast. It reminds me a lot of Twitch. If you ever watch a Twitch feed where thousands of people are on it, and the feed just like blows by when you have a bunch of people on it. I tell you, like, yeah, it's kind of cool. The reason I've been streaming mostly on Discord, Discord, silly goose. The mostly where I've been streaming on Twitch more now, it's simply because it's much easier for me to just directly connect my iPad and have my iPad be streaming to the service that I want it to go to. Streamlabs is neat and all, but Streamlabs, its biggest problem that I found so far was Facebook, not too much of an issue, but when you're dealing with YouTube, you have to create an event on a computer, and then from the computer, after the event is created, then you have to log into that event on your Streamlabs, and then you can stream. It's a pain in the butt. I don't really enjoy the amount of work or how difficult it is to do. So I don't really like streaming on that. Facebook's not as bad. I didn't realize I could put the microphone on when I first was dealing with it. I did a stream of Vainglory gameplay on it, and my problem is a game like Vainglory requires touch control, and the microphone of the microphone for the iPad seems to be where one of my hands is, and every time I'm doing an action, you hear like it's like it's like a mic being like a lot of static and feedback is flying onto it, and it sounds horrible. So when I stream through Twitch, I can mute the microphone, but all the music from the game is still 100%. So there's no speaking, but I can always still see the chat windows, and I can always communicate in that way. So it's really hard to do it too. Like, you really would need somebody to stream with you. Like, if you're playing a game like Vainglory, I even can see if you're playing a game like Catalyst Black, it's gonna be super hard for you to be streaming and answering questions from people, especially if you have to try to type. Stopping to read the questions too, it's guaranteed to get you killed every freaking time. So, like, I know if I'm streaming, when I stream gameplay, I don't speak. I just don't. Or if I have the microphone on, it's gonna be there, but it's not going to be it's not gonna be super loud. I'm probably gonna have to pick up a little bit lower. So I might basically do that for CB, because what I'm thinking is what I'm going to do, I'm going to check to see if I do get into early access, or even after, if they have betas or whatever. I want to see if the keyboard and mouse setup works on an iPad. That's kind of one of the reasons why I want to get into it. I just want to test it, because right now they have builds of the game that's running on PCs that they're using to code it out and build it. And some people are playing with keyboard and mouse. Some people are playing with controllers, and others are just playing on the screen. So, and they all are doing very well. So it's kind of cool in that respect. So what I'm trying to figure out, what I personally wanted to figure out was how to actually check to see if it worked on my iPad Pro. Because I tried Vainglory, which I know on some devices, that especially on Android stores, like if it's a Chromebook, I believe you can use a mouse and the keyboard, because it's actually in there. If you use it on a computer, it works also. The Vainglory that was available, the last one that was available. But even though my iPad Pro has the ability not to take a mouse, and I can always have a Bluetooth keyboard, it wasn't programmed. Vainglory wasn't programmed to work like that on an iOS device. Because if it had worked, then I was pretty sure when when Catalyst Black comes out, it might also work in a very similar fashion. But I don't know. It depends if the game can detect that inside the hardware now there's a keyboard that's active that the game should be aware of, and if it allows you to use it, which would be kind of neat. It works with Xbox controllers and PlayStation 4 controllers so far. One of the devs, he uses a PlayStation controller, and one of the guys on the Discord server that I'm talking, like I asked, anybody using a controller? He's like, well, yeah, I use controller, and then I asked him a few questions. We've been talking back and forth now about builds and stuff like that. Him based on him playing, and me based on stuff that I watch. So that's the funny thing. Like I am watching so many different things, and I'm looking at what the developers are saying on some of the chats or some of the stuff they're mentioning. So I'm trying to, and watching other people play and watching their play styles, or even some of the streams, the conversations they're having with other players. It's like, how are you so fast? How come I can't keep up with you? And then you find out the guy he prioritized speed over everything else that he was building. So his character is stupidly fast. Like it's not easy to keep up with him in just your basic your character who might be same level, but you don't have your speed built out the way he did. So it's a pretty interesting game. It has thousands of variations you can do. If you have a specific way you like playing games, or you like playing shooters, or you even had in MOBAs, yeah, you can actually build out a character the way you like. Like if you're a true run and gun person, like if you're playing a first person shooter, you never stop running. You're just moving around, boom boom, killing the next guy, moving on to the next target and stuff like that. You can build a character out like that. If you're a person who likes to get into a nice position, have high ground, you sit somewhere or you perch inside a bush or something and you hide and to snipe people, you could do that too. If you're a person who's like into support, where you don't want to take on people by yourself, but if you're working with somebody else, you can definitely do some damage. You can work that out. If you're an assassin, like as soon as you come in, boom, explode, burst damage, person knocked out. You could do that too. So it's like, yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing, and it's definitely a new genre. A lot of people are like, this looks like this game. I mean, this is just a copy of that. And when you're playing the game and you're looking at the game, one of the most interesting thing is how frantic and how much stuff is going on the same time on the screen. You literally have PvE, player versus environment, PvP, player versus player, all happening at the same time. And the minimum number of players in certain modes is going to be 20. So 10 on each side. And then there's certain games that it's going to have 40. So that's cuckoo bananas. And what's pretty interesting is the game runs pretty smooth. There's not a lot of dropping, a lot of people crashing. There's some because it's definitely early release version of the game, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm surprised at the stage it is right now. That works really well. And they also created a really neat system not to punish you if like your internet connection goes bad or you have something important to do, like you have you're a child or somebody, there's an emergency. You don't have to feel like sometimes people need help and you're playing a game and you're just like, damn, there's no way for me to pause, and you feel bad that you have to basically just leave the game. You have to leave the game and leave the people that you were working with in a lurch. So in this situation, you don't have to basically do that anymore. You don't have to worry about it. The mechanic allows you to just leave the game with no penalties, which is pretty neat. And also, the queue time for most of these games are somewhere between 5 to 20 seconds. That's all the time you spend queuing, waiting for games. I really haven't seen a queue that's been over 30 seconds yet. You get into games very quickly in this game. That was definitely one of the issues with Vainglory, because it was always trying to do this matchup between skills and capabilities, and like based on a elo system, or okay, this player should be good at that player. And it was always trying to do matchmaking to try to give you some kind of a competitive match instead of having it just a blowout. Like yesterday was the first time in a while I had a decent match. I mean, the players on my side, somehow they got it together, but during the beginning of it, I was like having to run around the whole map trying to help people. We had like a captain who's supposed to, whenever a person's getting double team, triple team, they're supposed to come and help. They're supposed to be the support for that person. And it was kind of weird. Like, people were getting bullied everywhere. And I had, as the jungler, I had to keep running from lane to lane trying to help people out. And it's kind of rough because it puts you off your game because you're trying to build, you're trying to kill certain stuff to get gold so you can increase your XP and build out your loadout for the character. And you're spending a lot of time going to nurse other characters trying to save them so they don't die or prevent objectives from being taken from you. So yeah. But it was one of the better games I've played in the last, 4 weeks. Because most of the games, like I said, have been heavily tilted. You've been either far superior than the opponent, or the opponent is far superior to you. And it's not because you don't know how to play. It's because some games you have 5 players playing on your team and they have like 3 playing on theirs, and other times you're on the 5-3 situation. Or sometimes a person who has no idea how to play the game literally comes into it, and if you have 1 or 2 people who are just futzing around and everybody else on the other team are full-fledged players, you ain't winning that. There's no way you can win. You're gonna lose. I can try to carry as hard as I want. If I can't get gold, if I can't level up my character fast enough, I can't do anything about it. Like, that was happening where there was a character when I was level 8. The character was 3 levels higher than me. They were at 11. I was just like, what's going on? How is that even possible? So in a game like this, that level disparity is huge. 1 or 2 levels is bad enough. 3 whole levels on you, you're in a whole lot of trouble when you're gonna face that character. So yeah. So like I said, there's a high skill cap in Vainglory, but at the same time, compared to a game like League of Legends, it's a lot easier to understand, because League, my major turnoff is there's so much going on. There's so many characters. There's so much whatever. I don't know the characters well enough to. There's over 100, I believe, over 150 characters. If they're not at 180 characters. Even when the mobile version is going to come out, the people who already know how to play League are going to have a massive advantage on the people who are just learning, because the mechanics that they're used to from the PC will translate pretty much into the mechanics that's on mobile. So what's going to happen is those people are going to dominate anyway. They're going to still dominate, and they're still going to kick butt, and everybody else is just going to be in the background trying to catch up. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is constantly practicing characters and understanding how characters interact with each other. Like, that's why Vainglory, there's 55 characters, but I know every 55 characters because I played them for about, especially when the characters were new, I kind of learned a lot of the characters. And the characters I didn't play, my daughter wanted to be a jungler, or I was looking for the easy characters to play. I love this character called Ringo. He was an easy person to play. There's a character called Soar. He was one of the originals. He's also considered an easy character to play. So a lot of these characters, I learned to play them so I could show my kids how to play. And I had no idea, but I would open up the hero spotlights, find out what the abilities do, how the abilities work. And because I knew how they work, I would then play bot matches with my kids, and then I would show them how the character is played, and then I would have them play it, and then have them keep practicing on bots. Like, I don't understand people who pick up a game and the first thing they say is, you know what, I'm gonna go fight people who've been playing for about a year. I want to see how this game works. In mobile, I guess that's how people think mobile games are. Every mobile game you should just jump into and start playing. But in games like Vainglory, even in Catalyst Black, do the tutorial, read some of the stuff, look at what you need to do, read what are the requirements of the game you're playing. Like, there's a lot of information there. But I'm telling you, the first thing a lot of people like to do, I'm going to play now. And by doing that, and they're trying to show the game to people on their streams and stuff. So, I mean, you do a disservice to the people you're showing it to. And you do a disservice to yourself. Like, you really don't know how it goes, and when you're going to start playing, you're going to be at a disadvantage. I think what's kind of neat about this game is it definitely puts you in a lot of bot um, bot filled matches in the beginning, because if it doesn't, my goodness, you'll be you will be inundated by players who have so much gear that you cannot keep up with them. I can understand what they said, that, oh yeah, gear only gives you so much, but not when it's got speed boosts that allow you to run for 4 seconds and I'm coming in flat. I'll never catch you. not 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 in the straight up not straight up in the beginning with all that's happening in the game. It's going to be completely confusing, and you'll be like, why is that guy so fast? Why can't I do anything to stop him, because he's gonna be ahead of you. So that's just the way it's gonna be. But yeah, like I said, it still looks pretty dang fun and pretty dang interesting. A lot of people who play it will say it's addictive. So like I said, I got comic books to do and I got stuff to do. As much as I would love to try to get my I would like to try to get my hands on it to try to play the game. It would definitely be a time suck or a time sink, and I wouldn't be able to get to do some of the stuff that I'm trying to get done right now. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing not to be able to get the early access, but at the same time, I mean, you're watching folks play, you're just like, man, I wish I could get a few minutes in there. Like, dang, why don't you do this? And the funny thing is, a lot of the way I played Vainglory too, and a lot of the stuff I understand how to do in Vainglory, I watch a lot. I play bot matches like crazy. Since there's no bot matches, I'm gonna be trying to play it with a controller. I'm definitely going to go into the tutorial and mess around with the controller until I feel I have comfortable control with it, where I'm hitting things, I'm not missing stuff, and I can move and dodge comfortably. That's just, to me, the logical way you approach it. I'm not running into a game first. And I'm not even streaming me building up mechanical control over it. So that's just the way that's how I handle gameplay. That's how I see it. I think you don't jump into a fire and say, I hope I don't get burned. Like, I mean, that's just kind of crazy to me. To me, you prepare, you test, you practice a little bit, get yourself under some kind of semblance of control and understand how the game works, and then you get in there and then you play. That's pretty much that's my plan. I plan, when I start playing, I'm not going to be like, when I'm actually streaming some of the games, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. What am I doing? And that would never happen, is because I follow so many streams of it, from the pre-alpha release of a version of it called Massborn to the current version right now. And I watch so much gameplay on it. It's like watching film if you were a football player. Yeah, I know a lot about this game. Like, I fully understand what the modes are. I already get some of the strategies of what you want to try to play. I understand that you don't want to use your primal form all the time, but at the same time too, your primal form is almost like an escape hatch. It's like an extra heal when you're in a lot of trouble. Like, if you're about to die, if you jump into the primal form, that primal form will actually give you a new energy bar as the primal. When you get shot out of the primal form, you get full energy when you come out of it. So it's kind of like a heal. It's like more health bars. It gives you like 2 health bars. So in reality, if you have your primal form and you have your main form, you have actually 3 health bars to work with. So that's how I see it. based on even when I'm looking at the Masterborn gameplay, the heal is okay, but it ain't great. I still think out of the two, heal versus shield wins. The other ability that I've seen, it's called the jump attack. That is a little bit more superior to even the shield, because it's a more skillful way to play, but at the same time it lets you evade attacks. And sometimes if you're in trouble, instead of trying to fight your way out of it, you just jump across the screen and get the heck out of there. You escape. And what's neat about jump is it's almost as far as the jump that one of the primals named Sunder does. So holy moly, it's such a, when I saw this skill, I was like, yo, did that person just jump? And when I actually watched one of the guys that first streamed it, a guy who used to play Vainglory, and he also does esport commentary. When he was talking about it, it was kind of cool. You actually saw somebody was attacking him. He just jumped into the bush and ran. He had a person who was in primal form. Oh, that's one of the things about the game. You can transform into a giant primal god, which makes it also very different from every other game that might be ever out there. And those things have massive energy and abilities. And what he just does is when he has those things chasing him, he just jumps out of the way and runs with his ability. There's a cooldown to it. Like, one of the cool things I would see is if you're working on making sure your jump cooldown is super low, you keep upgrading that. Between that and your guns, I'm pretty sure you can do a lot of damage. And because of the characters I play in Glory, I already know two weapons that would be kind of cool to use. It would be the rocket launcher, because of a character named Warhawk that I like to play. And the other weapon that I could think of that would be really cool is this mortar lobbing primary weapon. I would like that one also because it reminds me of another character called Baron. And those two are a little bit like skill based. Like the Baron one, you're dropping the mortar on where the person should be, or you try to anticipate where they're going to be. So it's like, those to me are like weapons that I know. Those are weapons that I kind of know really well. There's a machine gun. There's a really poorly done right now chain gun that, compared to most other weapons, it's kind of broken, because what happens is the more you shoot it, the faster the gun goes, but its damage per second is so low, and the characters you're fighting are so mobile, it almost doesn't matter. So, like, I was suggesting maybe if they gave that weapon a shield based on the decrease in mobile and your speed, because as the gun goes faster, the slower you move. And if they were to give you movement speed, as your movement speed decreases, if they were to give you like a shield or a buffer around it proportional to how much speed that you're losing, when you're fully spun up on your chain gun, you would actually have a little bit of a defensive boost ahead of you. And this way, certain characters who can dodge around and move around, they would not automatically be able to one-shot and kill you. And another one that everybody's starting to notice in this game too is the sniper rifles are broken, because there's a primary weapon sniper rifle. What is going on? Holy moly, I'm a dummy. I'm so stupid. I'm thinking this is her arm that whole time, and it's actually Jimmy's arm. I'm so stupid. I'm such a dummy. The heck's wrong? All right. That makes a little bit more sense now because I was like completely confused by. I'm like, yo, she has 3 arms. I'm like, yo, she has 3 arms. What the hell's up with that? All right. My mistake is this I don't like. So what you just do is. Alright, so what's going on with these pages is, like I said, since there's so little going on in them, I'm able to finish them a lot faster. 2 characters, minimal backgrounds. So I'm able to get them done a lot quicker. I just got to do her hair, and then I'm pretty much done. Probably when I'm doing colors and stuff, I'm going to tighten this up a little bit more. And before I leave the screen too, I'm going to try to tighten this up as much as possible. Darren Korb. His name is Darren Korb. I was like Daryl Corbin. It's Darren Korb. Musical director at Super Giant Games. What's amazing about it is this man creates the soundtracks for all of these games, and these soundtracks are bananas. They're so freaking good. It's like some of the best. Like I love listening to the last 2 3 songs you heard are all composed by him, and this is like for games that he's worked on. It's kind of funny. The the owner of the company, or the head of the company, gaming company that he works at, these guys have been friends since they were kids. So they've known each other like forever. And he got, when he started making his games, he actually got his buddy to do the music, and my goodness, I mean, he's really freaking good. I love his stuff. So we gotta fix this again too. Yeah, if you're wondering, I have a room that's so cold, and it's so cool in here. It actually, it's giving me a cough. It's like, my goodness, this room is too cold. So I wear a lot of sweaters while I'm in this room. I'm under my covers a lot when I'm in this room too, because it's kind of cold. What's weird is this has a very sketchy, almost incomplete look to it, but I don't understand it, but it's kind of my style. Like, I'm not a clean, crisp artist. That's not what I do. It's not my thing. And the look of my stuff that's just my look. That's the aesthetic that I go for. I don't usually clean up everything. Like, this is a lot more than I usually do. And the reason I don't is it's because the stuff looks good, so I don't have to go too crazy with doing too much with it. It's the same technique I'm using everywhere. Everything I'm building out almost as in triangles. Like when I drew her hair originally, it's a series of triangles too. It's based on a picture of a real woman, but I drew her so many, I got the features of her face down in my head so well that all I have to do is keep adding those features over and over again on the picture, and when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, it's the same woman. You won't be trying to figure out who am I drawing. The little tricks that I'm doing with the lines is some stuff my brother showed me from another artist from YouTube. Like what he does with his mouths to make them look a little bit more pretty, a little bit more appealing. And I've been using that technique on a lot of my stuff that I'm doing here. It's subtle little things, but those little things go a long way. And there you go. take a... Let's see, which way does it go? Yep, it's gonna go up. It's gonna go like this. That's just about right. A little bit wider. Alright, let me just leave this alone. It's just not as pointy. That's all. Yeah. It's maybe a little too long here. That's actually a lot better. That's now the face is similar everywhere. It was a little too long. It's funny, it still kind of looked like him, but it was too long. That face was too long. Might come back and fix that shoulder because it's not coming to me exactly what I'm trying to get done. I might have to actually look at my arm for reference again. But yeah, this page is also done. These are a lot faster because, like I said, there's very little characters on them. And you have just two people in the background. It becomes a lot easier. So I'm just going to take page 12 and 13. I'm going to share them as JPEGs. I'm going to send them to the creator. And show them the inks of that. But yeah, so this is my book, Blue Jay and the Rush. Number 2. I try to show some of my work also. I just got to finish inking this book. That's one of the books I'm going to be working on when I'm done. What other stuff am I working on too? Rush art. So that's Blue Jay also. I could probably do this picture better now. I don't use as many circles anymore. Blue Jay, leopard. This is the Rush. That's the Rush again. Classic leopard. Like leopard, she got an upgrade too. So this is her new suit, and this is me drawing her in the new suit. This is Blue Jay in the current suit too. His classic suit is pretty interesting, Blue Jay. I don't know if I have any classic Blue Jay pictures. Haha, classic Blue Jay. That's the classic suit. It was a tunic and pants. Wow. I finished that. That's pretty neat. Shrek. Rage King. I love the way that picture came out. or Rage-Wa, whichever I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna fix these. This is Kai Leonidas, the Ocean Lion. Blue Jay and Leopard. The reason you keep seeing her in this one, that's her old suit. This other new suit that you see is after they got married. That's a present from her cousin, the Cardinal. Horrible track. I'm gonna get that. I can do something better. I'm actually gonna redo this too. I can do this better. I'm gonna actually take the whole body, gonna re-ink it again, and I'm gonna do this better. It'll be better. This is just a technique I was showing. Using the same basic figure, I can draw the same character from a stick figure. I can make male or female from the same stick figure. Some Blue Jay art. This I gotta finish also. With my brother's help, I made this look a lot better. His leg's too short still. I gotta finish that. I think I can do that better. This is a redone mask based on this design by a buddy of mine, Henry Wilson. It's so good that I changed my design to look like his because it looks better. This is Ignite. I gotta color that. That's Null. That's Ignite's uncle. That's Isaac, based on my son, Rhythm. That's his bow. Prototype 1. That's Prototype Crisis, Prototype 1's dad. He has the ability to project. He's got empathic projection. So he can push emotions onto you. Fear, love, hate. Those are the ones. He can actually push those onto you. So really powerful. And he's also wearing a power armor that helps amplify that ability that she invented. She's a smith. Can build the most impossible tech. The first one of the major techs she built was these power armors called prototypes. So here's his prototype C. Also, his code name is Crisis, and her suit is Prototype 1. A horrible leopard drawing. I might work with this one for golden, kind of like that. And that's another drawing of Blue Jay in the classic suit. What? Does this thing even open? Because every time I try to open it, oh wow, it's here. Look at that. Good for me. All right. Yeah, powers that be, Blue Jay. What? So this is after powers that be. That's the new suit that he has. So that's new Blue Jay. And his helm is also changing too. So classic. That's the powers that be suit. And then this is new Blue Jay current. So what's interesting about Blue Jay too is he appears kind of scary, but he's like a paladin. And there's a lot more gold in his new suit. His old suit was just dark. But it's cool. I might actually have him once in a while wear this too in the new age days too. Because it looks pretty neat. When I draw it like this, it looks pretty damn neat. Like the pants are not as loose; they are much more tight fitting. They're almost like still like a skin tight suit, but it's actually just really form fitting pants. I'm glad that one's still there, and that's my newer version of Cardinal. I'm gonna work the new face in, but yeah, the suit designs are a lot nicer. Yeah, but that's it for now. I'm about to come to the end of this stream anyway. I finished my inking, which I'm happy about. And I'm going to be able to put this bad boy away. So I appreciate all of those who have watched. So keep your eyes, your ears, your hearts, and your mind open. And until the next time that we are streaming, have a good one.